Welcome back. It is a Frankless Friday here on Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you live as we do every single day, Monday to Friday from 12 to 2 Eastern from the KushCo Tequila Studios. And on Friday, every so often I have a sip of the KushCo, and we're well fortified by one of our favorite sponsors there. And today, we've been talking about this a lot lately. I don't know, I smoke cigarettes, and 1,500 people died yesterday for cigarette-related deaths, and 200 or 400 or 500 people have come down with some affliction, supposedly from vapes, and all of a sudden the federal government wants to ban 500 people across the country, or 1,500 yesterday. They don't say anything about cigarettes, but they want to ban vapes. And Nick Kovacevich joins us today. He's the CEO of KushCo Holdings. They're one of the leaders in the vaporization space. And you guys just cut a big deal with De La Rue. And my take on this is, just what I said. You got the big tobacco lobby out there. And they don't want your vapes out there helping people cut back on the use of cigarettes. They don't want them out there. And, I've had the lobbyist talking points. People come in with the lobbyist talking points that, they're not safe, and we don't know yet, and all this other stuff. And I smoke cigarettes. I'm not proud of it. It's an addiction. It's the worst drug on earth. And I think the tobacco lobby is probably one of the most powerful. And they say, whoa, they've invested in the vape companies. No, they've just invested them to have a seat at the table so that they can spy on their strategy. But they own. Altria doesn't buy 20 and 30% of things. They own everything. How tough is it? Now you guys are moving into cannabis. I feel like most of the sicknesses and illnesses that are being reported are from counterfeit goods, not the actual stuff.
You're exactly right. And it is a lot of people in the industry raising concern about the timing of this. We just had the IQOS get approved today. And obviously that's a direct competitor to the Juul, which is having all the issues with the regulatory scrutiny. And to your point, I mean, more people unfortunately are going to pass away during our conversation here from cigarettes than have from vaping in the whole country since they existed. And why are they taking this on? There has to be some interest behind it. So a lot of people have raised that concern. But to your point, this is becoming less about a vape issue and more about a black market counterfeit issue. We're seeing a lot of these cases, if not all of them, are now linked to black market product, counterfeit product, and the problem is that product isn't tested and it's not authenticated, and so now it's actually raising consumer awareness, which we think is actually a good thing.
Well, it's funny because we were talking a little bit before we came on that I started in capital markets, but the last 5-6 years I've been starting to engulf myself in crypto and blockchain, and this is another new emerging space. And the incumbents, like the bank lobby, they hate crypto and blockchain, and I've been saying for a while that as part of that gestation period, from first adopter to mass adoption, you actually need some more regulation around it. And that's what gets mass adoption when they say, okay, there are, I'm a free market capitalist. We don't want too much regulation. But the populace at large feels better when they know there's some government agency that's setting some guidelines around this stuff.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. And I think the industry during this has been calling for more regulation, which for business owners, not usually the thing you would see.
No doubt.
But in this scenario, it's a matter of, hey, we all want this to be safer. We know the consumers want it. Let's bring in some reasonable regulation that can make this product safer and can actually build the market. And so this is really interesting because a lot of these cases where people are consuming THC cannabis vaporizers and getting sick, it's occurring in states that have no regulated framework. It's illegal.
Right,
and
exactly.
So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that these drug dealers are going to listen to the FDA guidelines when it comes to what tox?
No, I haven't been listening to any guidelines for years. And another funny thing, they're talking about, all these kids had sicknesses and illnesses. Don't blame the vape. You know what I mean? Like, blame the local government and the local community government for not enforcing the laws. kids shouldn't have these in their hands in the first place. You're not marketing to kids. But somehow or another, they're allowing kids to buy them.
And this is then there's two issues here, right? So there's the acute respiratory illness, which we agree, although it's tragic, it's very small, right?
Yep.
And this isn't something the government should be reacting to. But what it is, it's actually a catalyst that's driving reaction to what's been a bigger ongoing problem. And as you mentioned, it's the teen use. So we do see statistics for tobacco and nicotine teen use up now year over year for the last 2 years. And that's very alarming. And in fact, the FDA had said last year, if the numbers were up again in 2019, they were going to do something about it. And the problem is that the nicotine industry has access to these teenagers. So they're doing it on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Google. They have stores that are convenience stores that students are walking into on a weekly basis making purchases, and there's the Juul products right there. There's the nicotine products. And so what cannabis has done well, which is interesting, the states that have legalized, teen use is down 8 to 9%. And why is that? Because everything is age-gated, 21 and older. The products are getting off of the street, into regulated outlets, and the high schoolers don't have access to it.
You remove the whole black market component from it. You know who's getting it, who's got it in their hands. I feel like I'm kind of like an entrepreneur most of my career. My background's been mostly in capital markets, fintech type space. But I was just talking about this the other day with some of the team and some of our other guests. I have 2 areas targeted to invest in over the next 5 years. It's cannabis and cannabis-related products, and anything that has the word vegan on it, because the veganism
it's hot right now.
And right, they don't need state regulation on the vegan. You know what I mean? If you put vegan vape, half of the millennials will have the vegan vape in 2 minutes. But as long as you don't say it has a fruit flavor on it, because then you'll be trying to poison kids.
And I'm glad that you're bullish on the sector. Our company's publicly traded. We trade under the symbol KSHB, and we look at ourselves as
Where?
we're on the OTC markets right now. We're waiting. Okay. We're waiting to get listed on Nasdaq. And
give me the symbol again.
It's KSHB.
KSHB.
KushCo Holdings. And
so check out the KushCo Holdings. And as you know, we don't solicit investments. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take any advice from me. If I even sound like I know what I'm talking about, it's because I'm drinking during the show. So, but check out King Sam Harry Boy is the symbol of KushCo Holdings, and I'm with you. I'm looking for companies like yours that have a sound, stable plan. That hey, we know we're in a setback time here, but nothing grows straight up, right? These little setbacks cause the things that shake out the shady little companies and the public companies like you guys who have an awareness, who you understand a national strategic marketing plan. These are the ones you want to take a look at, and we'll keep an eye on KushCo, and anything that goes on in the space, come on down, let us know about it.
Love to be back.
And,
thank you.
We'll keep you guys on the front of our investment portfolio, but don't listen to me. Don't take any advice from me. I'm not a financial advisor. I just play one on TV. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back after this with a monster millennial panel of Jason Levy, Nico Romano, and Pavlina Asta to talk to you about student loans and the craziness that's going on in that space. Quick break, liquid lunch, right back after this.